Hello and welcome to episode 6 of One Stitch After Another. This is my little podcast. My name's Ashley and I talk about all things knitty and stitchy on this channel. Haven't done much stitchy yet, but I might have something to show you today. It is Tuesday the 28th of May, I want to say, and here in the Midlands in the UK where I live, it is currently pouring with rain. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. I've got a cup of weak Earl Grey, so please do go and get yourself a cuppa and make yourself comfy, get your knitting, and I'll show you a couple of whips and some work in progress, and I'll also talk about a future plan. My cat is not impressed. She's currently sat on the windowsill looking at the rain thinking, when are we going to have British summertime? But enough of that. Let's have a little talk about what I'm wearing. This is my first whip. This is the Purl Code Cardigan by Isabell Kraemer. I will leave a link to a video where I've shown the first part of this, and there'll be a video coming up where I talk about any problems that I had with the pattern. And this is using the beautiful Herkle Durkle yarn, hand dyed by Gaynor from Tales at Cuckoo Land. The cat has just come to have a little sniff of my yarn, which is behind you. It's yes, dyed by, get your paws off that yarn. It's dyed by the lovely Gaynor from Tales of Cuckoo Land using Lay Family yarn. I think the best thing for me to do is to take it off and show you some of the details. So it's a little bit longer than I would have liked it to have been, by probably 3.5, 4 inches. It's grown a little bit with blocking, but I love the feel and drape of this. So this is the Purl Code Cardigan by Isabell Kraemer, if I haven't said already, and I knit it according to plan. I didn't check gauge, which is very naughty, isn't it? I might have done a little bit at one point and thought, oh, I'm getting enough, I'm getting close enough, it'll be fine. A couple of modifications that I've made that I've talked about already. I've done a 1x1 twisted rib for the cuff and the hem, the welt at the bottom. It's a top-down construction with a raglan sleeve, and I just love the details. Look at the speckles in this. And the other modification that I've done is a little hidden pocket. You see if I can get this close to show you. Yes, I've used a contrasting yarn from Stash. There's my little hidden pocket. I think I talked about how I was going to knit across and then knit up and down, and that's exactly what I did. And then I just did a little couple of rows of garter stitch there to just make the top of that edge neater, and then I've just stitched behind. Yeah, so I just used yarn from Stash for that. My favourite thing that I love about this are the buttons. Well, I like all of it, but I love the buttons. So I think there are 11 buttons, and I've gone from my button stash, which is huge, and I've put on different colours and different types of buttons, and I love it. I've worn it a couple of times and people have said, oh, that looks really nice. I'm going to put it back on now. If I haven't already said, well, I've said it on my previous Herkle Durkle video, the Purl Code Cardigan has a code for using Morse code, all of the letters of the alphabet, and you can create using purl and knit stitches. So you get the purl ridges that you can see here. You can knit any sentence, any phrase, any word, any letter, and I have hidden throughout this Herkle Durkle. So yes, I love it. The only thing I would do differently next time, I would knit it a bit shorter. I wanted to wear it with dresses and skirts, but I'm wearing it with trousers today and it's absolutely fine. So that is my first finished object. And I should say, I did think that I was playing yarn chicken. Out of my 400 grams, which, no, 300 grams. Yes, I had three 100 gram skeins. So it was 1275 meters. I have got a precious 16 grams left. It might have been enough to do the pockets in the same, but I quite like that little flash of colour there. So this is going to go into my stash for my northeasterly blanket, and it'd be lovely to have a little bit of Tales from Cuckoo Land speckled special limited edition Herkle yarn in my northeasterly blanket. This is the wrong colours for my northeasterly blanket, so that's going to go for gnomes or bear clothing or something. So my second finished object, you may have seen a while ago, and again I've got a more detailed video coming up about this. I bought some really cheap yarn from Aldi, double knitting, which I wouldn't normally buy, 100% acrylic, which I wouldn't normally buy, and lots of people really enjoyed that video. It's my best performing video to date, and somebody made the really useful comment, why don't you knit something with it and wash it and tumble dry it to see how it stacks up. So this hasn't been blocked or washed yet. I'm going to machine wash it. I'm going to check the ball band to see whether 40 degrees is okay or whether I should do it at 30 degrees. But this is the Macaroon sweater. I can't remember who it's by. It might be a long avec Anna. But I will leave the pattern and the designer in the description box. So this is a lovely little baby pattern, and I should say that it is free, and I've used 2 of my colours. I've hardly made a dent in the 100 gram skeins, and I really like it. I've done a little button on the back. This is age 6 to 9 months, and when it's washed, I will actually give it to a colleague of mine who's just had her first baby, a little boy called Charlie. It was very easy to knit. It's knit in 2 pieces, and I've just used back stitch to seam it. Did a 3 needle bind off for the shoulders. Can you see that there? I quite like that. It's quite neat, and yeah, it's just a really quick and easy little make. So it's just knit in 2 pieces. You cast on, when you change colour, you cast on extra stitches for the arms, and again I've just used back stitch at the bottom. One of the problems that I did, because I wanted a neat edge, I slipped the first stitch on every row, but it meant that I couldn't easily do a mattress stitch in garter stitch to sew it up. But I don't mind that hem, to be honest with you. I don't mind it. So those are my 2 finished objects. I have been a little bit slow. I would have liked this to have been finished a lot earlier than it was, and I just really like it. I think it looked really nice with a white linen shirt with a collar underneath it. I said in a previous video that the sleeves were a little bit short, but actually with blocking they have stretched, and it fits beautifully, so I'm really, really happy with that. Whips, I've only really got one to show you. I have been working on my northeasterly blanket, as you may have seen in a previous podcast. Go and check my playlist. There's plenty to look at on this channel. And yes, the other thing that I've been working monogamously on for a couple of weeks now is this. It is my first foray into using knitting for Olive. So I'm using the Kid Silk, and I'm using the Merino 4-ply, Merino Light, knit together, and this is the colourway Ballerina. I've got a little bit of a pale pink vibe going on, haven't I? And I am on the second sleeve. I'm using 9-inch circulars, which is a bit of a challenge for me. It does take a little bit of getting used to, and I did find myself cramping up a little bit with my left hand. I watched somebody's video and I can't remember who it was. It might have been, is it Very Pink Knitting? Massive YouTuber, very informative. Again, I'll leave her link down below. I'm sure I've got the name wrong, but I was searching for videos on tips on using 9-inch circulars. And one of the things that she said is you don't need to grip on tightly. I don't tend to grip on tightly with my right hand anyway, but I was with my left and I could feel like a bit of pain coming here. So one of her tips is just to relax that left hand. And obviously you're knitting at the tips of the needles, but yes, this is the late summer wrap, also by Knitting for Olive, and this is not for me. This is a commission for a friend of mine for her granddaughter, and in fact I've got to knit another one exactly the same, in exactly the same colour. This one's got to get done for the middle of June, and I will. I should finish it this week. I should finish it by the 1st of June. It's going to need a good blocking, but again, it's top-down construction, all in one piece, and you start from the centre neckband using a provisional cast on, now a crochet provisional cast on, and I'm really proud of myself. I've always struggled with a crochet provisional cast on, and I think the best YouTube tutorial that I've seen is Purl Soho's, and I've just got it, so much so that I think I can actually do a crochet foundation chain now. Again, I have battled to learn crochet. I've just never been successful. So thank you, Purl Soho, for your very informative and very intuitive video. So yes, I'm very pleased. You can't really see the join in the centre back there. Yeah, I'm very pleased with that. And then it's got this wonderful, I haven't done it terribly neatly, but it's got this wonderful saddle shoulder shaping. I've heard other YouTubers talk about garments that they've knitted for themselves with a saddle shoulder. That's neater there. Can you see? So you get wonderful, wonderful shaping. I don't know whether the camera is picking it up, but it just means that the shoulder, it sits really, really nicely on your shoulder. Yes, so I have actually as well cast on the neckband for the second one of these. It's a shame it's in exactly the same colour. It would have been nice to do something different. I'm using the size extra small. Yeah, it's going well. The ties were really satisfying to do, and the way that the short row shaping works to incorporate the bottom of the garment with the tie, I so enjoyed that. I really, really enjoyed that. It's paid for pattern. I think it's about €7.50, something like that. But I will leave it in the description box. I am loving the fabric that this is creating. I'm really, really loving it. I got free shipping from the Knitting for Olive website in Oslo. I think on your first order with them, you get free worldwide shipping. I wish that I'd had the money to buy myself some of their cashmere maybe, or some of their silk. There's a scarf that I would like to knit of theirs that uses cashmere and maybe something else held with it. I can't remember, but yeah. So before I show you, that's the only whip I've got on the go apart from my northeasterly blanket, which I won't bother showing you because you've seen enough of that. But before I show you my future plans, I just want to address why I've not made any knitting podcasts for quite a while and why my video output on this channel has been quite low. So welcome if you're new here. My name is Ashley, if I haven't said already. I am a lifelong crafter. I've crafted all of my life. When I was a child, very, very badly. Hopefully not so badly as an adult. I live in the UK, in the Midlands. I live in the town of Rugby, where rugby football was invented at Rugby School. It's a market town. There's nothing particularly special about it. It's not there are some lovely pretty villages on the outskirts of Rugby, and Rugby is in an interesting location that it borders quite a lot of counties. So I am on the doorstep of Northamptonshire, which has some beautiful villages, with Northampton stone, which is a bit more of a deeper honey colour than Cotswold stone. I'm on the border of Leicestershire, I'm close to Coventry, and we are in Warwickshire, which is Shakespeare's home county. I have had cancer twice in my life. I was first diagnosed in 2012 with breast cancer and had surgery in 2012, chemotherapy through 2012-2013, radiotherapy in 2013, and then drug therapy, which caused me to develop endometrial cancer, which was diagnosed in 2020, just as we went into lockdown. April the 22nd, I was diagnosed. I had a full hysterectomy, ovaries, womb, cervix, all gone. The benefit of that is that I do not need to have smear tests anymore, which is a rather nice benefit to have. Then I had chemotherapy again and radiotherapy. So that has left me feeling very tired, very old, and my hair didn't grow back properly the first time after the first lot of chemo that I had in 2012, 2013. I have what they call male pattern baldness at the back of my head, and my hair is very fine and fly away now. Previously it had been really, really thick and quick to grow. After the chemotherapy in 2020, it grew back a little bit more, but still nowhere near what it used to be. So I am very self-conscious about my hair. I think when you've had a full head of hair and people go, "Oh, haven't you got a lot of hair?" It takes a bit in getting used to. But do you know, I shouldn't really complain. I am here alive and kicking, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? But one of the reasons that I've been a little bit absent on this channel this year is that on the 29th of December, I was given the news that I have a suspected tumour on my left kidney. So this is potentially cancer number 3, and I'm due to have surgery next week. I'm going to have something called a partial nephrectomy, and the surgery is booked for the 5th of June, which is the day after my birthday. So there won't be many birthday plans happening until after the surgery. It's actually the day of my mother's birthday, my surgery. So partial nephrectomy, they're going to remove the tumour, laparoscopic, I can't say the word, keyhole surgery, yeah. And there will be 4 to 6 weeks recovery time. So I'm feeling a little bit daunted by that. When they take the tumour away, they're going to analyse it to see whether it is a breast cancer tumour, whether it's a kidney cancer tumour, whether it's a endometrial cancer tumour, or whether it's in fact benign. It might even be benign. Let's keep our fingers crossed. But that's one reason why I've not been here as much as I would like to have been. I am sad that I'm going to have to take some time off work because I enjoy my job. I only work part-time. I used to be a secondary school teacher. I taught drama and music. I still work for a company teaching acting on a Saturday morning, and I work 2 days a week now as a teaching assistant in a school where I used to be head of drama, and I love it because I don't have to mark, I don't have to plan, I can just rock up, do my thing, go home, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So I'm looking forward to some recovery time in the garden, doing some slow stitching, doing some knitting. I don't know whether you can see behind me on those shelves. You might just be able to see there's a whole row of empty glass jars with little silver lids. I have got tons and tons and tons and tons of buttons, little tiny ones and great big ones. I want to sort all my little tiny ones into a really extreme rainbow fade, from white through to black, through every single colour you can think of, because I've got all the buttons. I must have thousands of buttons. So that's something that I would like to do this year. But let's end on a happy note. So I have got a little bit of slow stitching here. So let me see if I can get it out. I go to two kind of knitting groups. One I've been going to for many years, probably the best part of 20 years. And we've met in various places in Rugby over that time. And we've been a little group, we've been a massive group, and we're about 6 now, and we meet in a local lounge called Bacco Lounge. They're a chain, there's lots of them over around the country, and we have a great time. And then recently I've started going to a much smaller group run by a lady called Lou, who runs Lou's Stitching Studio in Rugby, and she's a fairly new business. I'll leave her link down below. I'm not affiliated or sponsored or anything, but I like to support local businesses. Anyway, she gave us all a couple of pieces of fabric. So in her sewing studio, she's running all kinds of workshops: quilting, I think beginners dressmaking, crochet. I must sign up for one of her crochet workshops now that I can. What's the word? I can't think now that I can do a foundation chain. But yes, she gave us all a couple of these little patches that she'd made to do what we wanted with in terms of slow stitching, and we could keep them afterwards. The only proviso was that she was able to photo them for her own social media. And this is what I have done so far on this piece. So I've used some space dyed thread to do chain stitch round these kind of tear shaped pieces. I'm not the best at stitching. And then I've got these little bits of satin stitch going on, which is also in a space dyed thread, but not as extreme colour changes as the other one. So that is very slow stitching. I've been on it a long time. I've got various little threads in here that I'm planning on using. And this is in a little project bag that was in, I think it was a Christmas Eve box by Sherry Iris a couple of years ago. So those can all go in there. And then the last thing to think about or tell you about is my future plan. So when I have done both of my late summer wrap ballet cardigans, I'm going to be doing another garment for the same lady in virtually the same colours. So this is a little mini haul that I have had from Wool Warehouse. I ordered this on Thursday afternoon, quite late Thursday afternoon, and it arrived Saturday morning. How brilliant is that? And if you've never ordered from the Wool Warehouse, they have so many yarns on offer. Julie, who I'm going to be knitting this for, said that she wanted the same colours as this. And we went on the Wool Warehouse website and looked at the called for yarn, because I didn't use the called for yarn, which is Cascade. It's a cotton yarn, and these are the colours that I've gone for. It's called Cotton Pima. So we've got almost the same colour green, like an apple green. Oh, this is so lovely. I haven't actually felt it. It arrived and I took it out of its packaging, and everything you order from the Wool Warehouse comes in one of these bags, which is really useful. So we've gone for 2 of these. I'm going to be doing the 12 to 18 month size, so I need 2 of this, and I think I'm going to experiment with this one. I think I'm going to knit it in the round in garter stitch. So do I have to do knit a row, purl a row to get garter stitch? I think I do, don't I, in the round, which might not be ideal purling, but it should be all right. But it means then that I don't have to seam up, and then I will knit when I get to that bit there, I'll knit back and forth in the contrast colour. Now the natural contrast colour, it was interesting. We went on the website and it said from £6.49 or something a ball, because obviously she wants to keep the cost down because it's for a child. You don't want to be spending hundreds of pounds, do you? And the natural was over £10. So I looked through and found this colour, which was also at the reduced price. It's called washed avocado or something. Let me just put my glasses on and give you the spec of this yarn. So Ultra Pima. This colour is called, it doesn't say, I'm pretty sure it was washed avocado or something. I'll put it in the description box for you, but it is 200 meters to 100 grams, which is half the amount of the acrylic. Cotton is heavier anyway, isn't it? And it suggests a gauge of 22 to 24 stitches on 4mm needles. I think that's all you need to know. You can machine wash it at 40 and you can tumble dry it, which is fabulous for a yarn for children, isn't it? And it's made in Peru. So that is the only acquisition I've got, and it's not even for me. And that's what the two colours look like together. And I think that's going to be really nice for a little boy. And what I wanted to do on this one, just to break up the monotony of the plainness, I hadn't got two buttons the same. And I am going to purchase two buttons. I'm going to put a little button at the bottom there, the same colour as what I use for the back. And I might go for a blue button. Again, just as a little extra pop of colour. But I don't know. So I will be back with more videos soon, hopefully. We'll see how the surgery goes, see what my recovery is like. And yeah, please do comment down below where you're from, if you're still here. I bet nobody is. And I will be back, hopefully soon. If you like paper crafting, you might want to check out my other channel, Paper and Twine. Thank you so much for giving up some of your time to share with me today, and I will be back when I can. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're stitching, put love into every stitch.